The proposed Central Maryland Red Line is a bit closer to reality. The project has cleared another major milestone with the Federal Transit Administration. And here to tell us what it all means is Henry Kay, Executive Director of Transit Development and Delivery. Henry, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, I'm glad to be here.
This was exciting news. We keep clearing these hurdles, and for folks who haven't been keeping up with the project, I guess, let's start with a bit of what it is first off.
Sure, the Red Line is one of the biggest initiatives MTA has going on now. We've been working on it, very hard for almost a decade now, and it's in our sights. But what it is, it's a 14-mile light rail line. It would go from east to west across the region. So you'd be able to get on a train out near Security Square Mall in Woodlawn and ride all the way through the Route 40 corridor downtown, out through the east side, and end up at Bayview Hospital. So partially on the surface, like our existing light rail line, partly in a tunnel, like our existing metro. So we're trying to come up with something that kind of uses the best of both those systems and creates a rail line for the future of the region.
Okay, now we're going to get technical for just a bit here. We've got to talk about this record of decision and what exactly that means for the project.
Yeah, record of decision is the term that's established in federal environmental law. It's the way that at the end of the day, the federal environmental agencies sign off on the project. So probably a way to think about it, this is final environmental approval for the project. So it came as a result of years of analysis that we did. We published it in a series of documents. The last one came out in December of 2012 called the Final Environmental Impact Statement. And that was a very meticulous description of the project itself and all the kinds of both human and natural impacts that would occur as a result of it. So
not a done deal, but a major step in the right direction.
Yeah, it's far from a done deal, I'm sorry to say. The Red Line's a very ambitious project. It's going to have to be fully funded, it's going to have to be constructed, and it'll be a number of years before we can really expect to see it in service. I mean, right now we're scheduled to be in service in early 2021, so you have to be a little bit patient to sort of think in those time frames. We have a lot to do in the meantime.
Now, we recently heard an announcement about a partnership that the MTA formed with the Department of Labor, Licensing and Regulation that would have to do with jobs that this project is expected to create. Tell us about that.
Yeah, a project that's as big as the Red Line, is going to create a lot of jobs, and that's a very important benefit of the project that, the region has always expected to see. So people have to build it, and someday people have to operate it. And so we have, in addition to all the other aspects of planning the project, had to focus on what kinds of job opportunities might exist. And in order to make sure that happens, we've entered into this partnership with a sister state agency, the Department of Labor, Licensing and Regulation, because they're the people who really have the resources to identify candidates, to train them, and to get ready for the jobs that will result when we actually bring contractors on board to build and, as I say, someday operate the line. So we have we've locked them down in a relationship. We'll work together. We'll bring our specific needs to the table. They'll bring the training resources they have, and hopefully we'll be able to feed people into them who will get those jobs at the end of the day.
And these kinds of relationships say that we are just getting closer to bringing this thing to reality.
That's right. These are all the things that we have to do to make this happen. I mean, we have to design the project. We have to, as we said, get environmental approvals. We have to find funding for the project. We have to show these designs to the public. We have to establish relationships with entities like the Department of Labor and Licensing and Regulation, with BG&E, with park agencies, with the State Highway Administration, because there's just a lot of details that have to be resolved behind the scenes before we can break ground on something like the Red Line.
Well, we are looking forward to the day that the first shovel hits the ground and we can say it is a reality.
Thank you, me too.
All right, Henry Kay, thank you so much for coming in.
Glad to be here.
You're going to appreciate this next story as a planner. I know this is something you love. On first thought, you may not think of transit or perhaps the subway as a place to enjoy fine art, but that's exactly what you'll find in MTA metro stations. Today, we focus on the amazing work of Romare Bearden that graces the Upton metro station.
Good morning, honey, you old gloomy sight.
It is the kind of public art that often goes unnoticed. Housed at the Upton Avenue metro station, where thousands of commuters travel daily, sits a 14 by 46 Venetian glass mural done by the internationally renowned artist Romare Bearden.
I think it's one of Baltimore's best kept secrets, actually, that there's a Bearden mural at the Upton station.
The mural was one of a number of artworks commissioned by the Maryland Transit Administration. It's called Baltimore Uproar and features the legendary jazz singer and Baltimore native Billie Holiday.
It's colorful. I like that blue, the guy on the keyboards. So when you're just getting off of here, you see, yeah, right. That's it.
Michelle Wilkinson is Director of Collections and Exhibitions at the Reginald Lewis Museum.
by having commissions for public art in city spaces like a metro station, it really causes us to look even differently beyond the piece of art that we're looking at. It causes us to look internally, and it also causes us to notice other things outside and pay attention to them.
Wilkinson says Bearden began his career as a painter, but is best known for his collages. While the unveiling of the Bearden mural took place nearly 31 years ago, Holiday and the scene from Baltimore's Black Heyday continues to resonate in the Pennsylvania Avenue community.
I know she used to be on the Avenue, because I'm from the 60s. I remember from being down there, like Red Fox, different folks like them used to come down there, because we used to have a bar down here. It used to call it Star Palace years ago.
Bearden's body of work was recently celebrated as the art world marked the 100th anniversary of his birth. The artist, who also worked for the Afro-American newspapers, left Baltimore what many feel is an invaluable treasure.
People walk by and they might, see the woman singing or see the musicians playing and feel something but not really know. This is a great legacy and a great treasure right here in Baltimore, created by one of the most, influential artists of the 20th century.
You're supposed to hold your head high for who you are, So it transcends, and I think, 20 years from now, that picture will be still there, and people will still feel something.
I'm Ronald Rochester of the MTA Service Quality Division. Here's our first Ask the MTA question.
My name is Angela Edges, and I am from Baltimore, Maryland, and I'd like to know what is the problem with the light rail cars between 7 o'clock and 7:30 in the morning going northbound. It has been many times I have observed that there are at least 2 or 3 cars traveling southbound, but only one has come northbound.
During the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., our service runs on a 10-minute headway. Our service runs every 10 minutes, north and southbound. That particular day, something might have been going on, and we would have definitely made announcements for our patrons through our new PA system. Next question.
I think the MTA should use the speaker more to let the people know what's happening there, and so that people should know what's happening, and so that they sometimes, if we need to, stay a little bit longer, though the people should make decision. They can take the taxi, or they just wait here, and at least the MTA should let the people know how much longer it's gonna take to get the light rail here.
Our communications department, which is a new department that we have, pride themselves on making announcements as soon as they get the service delay from either Metro Control or Light Rail Control. So what we do is, as soon as the communications department gets that announcement that there is a delay, they make the announcement and we advise our public on what's going on. Next question.
James Clyde from Mount Washington, Maryland. Is there a reason why we have a light rail that stops at North Avenue and not go all the way downtown?
Some of the light rail trains only go to North Avenue because the operator is either scheduled to end their day or to go on lunch to start their next assignment. So we try to service our public by getting them at least to North Avenue so they can catch a connecting service to continue their trip. We appreciate your questions. If you have a question you'd like to ask the MTA, visit the MTA website at mta.maryland.gov for a convenient TV show link, or connect with us on Facebook or Twitter.
And that is going to do it for this edition of MTA Commuter Connections. Thanks to all of our guests, and thanks to you at home for watching. I'm Terry Owens. We'll see you next time.